Hello everyone. Today's lecture we'll see about swarm intelligence. So you might have seen birds flying together in the form of V shape without colliding. Hundreds of fish swim together and millions of ants. They discover the shortest path to find the food and moving on a line on the walls, on the floors. So honey bees without a Google map, they find out where the flower is. They bring out the honey. Okay. So now you just have you imagined any time who is controlling all those or who is coordinating all those? Uh, do the is it honey bee is coordinated by the queen bee, or is there anything called a leader ant, or is there anything called an alpha bird? So this is called a swarm intelligence we are going to see in this lecture. So swarm intelligence is a collective behavior of decentralized, self-organized system composed of many simple agents. They interact among themselves locally, right? And with their environment as well many times. So they have their own simple rules. Okay. So you imagine an ant, a bird, the bee, the fish. So, which is more intelligent? Are they intelligent? Are they really intelligent when they are alone? Right? Have you ever imagined that? If I take a single ant, is it intelligent alone, or it is exhibiting something called a collective intelligence? Right? This collective, decentralized, self-organized behavior is called as swarm intelligence. Right? So, when you talk about these creatures, they are not individual when they are alone, but they are individual as a group. Okay. So, for example, let's take they are simple individuals. They have their simple rules, but they interact locally. There is a communication sort of procedure, and then they exhibit some really a complex group behavior. You think of a honey bee, they build such a very complex structure just by interacting among themselves, right? They just do that as a group. So, this natural paradigm of collective actions you might have observed in the bird flocks, where when they are migrating in the form of V shape, and you might have experienced that in the fish, in the dense seas. You might have seen this in movies as well, and you have seen in the bee colony, ant colony, and also when the locust move, okay, from one location to the other, it moves in a very collective form. Okay. Now, you see here the birds. All right. So they are in the V formation. Do you think why they should go in a V formation? Why not in the other formation? Why not they fly randomly? Why should they follow a V formation? Is each bird is benefited by the airflow produced by the previous bird. So the previous bird produce a airflow, which is it helps the other birds to fly, so that their energy is not that much wasted. The energy is saved. All right. So this is in the bird formation fish school as well. So you might have seen a collective group of fishes you might have seen in aquariums or in movies. So they keep very safe distance. They don't collide. Okay, so you have not maybe I have not seen fishes colliding among themselves when they are in a school together. They maintain a proper distance. They match the speed. Okay, so now all this is inspired, all these inspired to the formation of something called particle swarm optimization. Okay, so how these rules creates a complex homogeneous pool, that was really amazing, right? And you talk about ant colony. Wherever you keep a food, if the food is really appealing and the ant want it, they randomly explore. You might have seen one or two ants moving on your kitchen top, exploring foods. If at all they find a food, immediately they just make all the ants, okay, towards the food, right? So you know that they have a chemical called pheromone, and they just split that chemical to the food, and only the shortest path of the pheromone exists, the other paths vanishes. So they communicate among themselves to form the shortest path, right? Similarly, bee colony, you have worker bees, you have scout bees. They search for foods. Worker bees thing is only to collect the food. Okay, so and there are something called the onlookers. They choose the best source. Okay, so they find out which is the best, where is the best flowers available. So every bees has their own process, and then they bring it to a hive. They form a honey bee. So you see that in all this, there is a sort of local interaction among themselves, and they just exhibit something called a group behavior. Okay, so they exhibit something called a group behavior. So this is about the ant colony, okay, or honeybee optimization. Okay, honeybee colony optimization. Then you take bacterias, the bacterias grow on the food, and based on your if your food, okay, so if there is more food, then the food concentration is more, the bacteria surge towards it. They move and they just fit themselves to the best bacteria, best food available. Okay, so you see that the bacteria search for the food. Okay, so that was really a very good, amazing one, which leads to something called bacteria foraging optimization. So if you see in an overall picture about swarm intelligence, the characteristics are there is no leader, there is a mandatory local communication among themselves. And based on the communication, they organize, they self-organize, there is a cooperation, there is an adaptation, and emergence is they have they come out with a very group intelligent behavior. So for example, you imagine one pixel. If you take an image, one pixel doesn't make a picture, but you see millions of pixels together, they form a better image. The same way to the brain as well. One neuron, nothing. But billions of neurons form a very collective intelligent structure called brain. Similarly, one ant, nothing. But millions of ant exhibit a colony level intelligence. So complex behavior emerges from a simple interaction. Okay. So what is that? From the swarm intelligence, what is that we could get is there is something called a self-organization among themselves. So you consider a very busy road, okay, so no traffic police, yet the vehicles continue to move. How the vehicles continue to move is by a human observation, they have a local interaction. So only let that vehicle move, then let me go. They just follow a local rule. For that position, they follow a local rule. How the birds follow, how the fish follow. Okay, so they follow a local rule. They maintain distance, they avoid pollution, they adjust the speed, they merge the safety of the passengers as well. So this organization, okay, this is called a self-organized behavior, which is a very important characteristics of swarm intelligence. The next characteristics is the decentralized organization. Okay, so decentralized organization is nothing but the traditional system was centralized one where the manager will control the employees. But now it is not. So everyone will control everybody. And so everyone interact dynamically with everyone. They coordinate the decisions. Then they form a localized rule. So this is one of the important characteristics of swarm intelligence, right? So they don't have a single boss. They just coordinate. So because of that, you have a fast response. There is no bottleneck. You may not always depend on a central boss for decisions. So there is a high robustness and scalability is there. This is the second quality of swarm intelligence. And the third quality is communication. Okay, so you might have seen the birds. Okay, so if a crow get a food, immediately cross and it collect the other crows to have the food together. Similarly, the ants, they just signals using the chemicals, pheromone. Okay, so they just, and the birds, sound. Okay, so they give a warning sound. If at all there is a danger, immediately they just put a sound. And the birds also dance. If they see more flowers, you see the bees buzz Okay, so and they are just moving around communication. So there is direct communication, indirect communication. Direct communication is what visibly you can see, like birds singing, fishes, the bees buzzing. But indirect example, best example is the ant. So you cannot see the ant deposit trials. We have not seen that in kitchens, floors, but yet the ant coordinates among themselves. Right. So similarly, the plants also, it is said that plants also exhibit certain sort of chemicals to signaling the other plants. So these are the characteristics. Self-organizing, decentralized system communications are the characteristics of swarm intelligence. So when you talk about the evolutionary algorithm versus the swarm intelligence, so earlier the previous presentation we saw about evolutionary algorithm, right? And now the swarm intelligence. So evolutionary algorithm is competitive in nature. So the best person always wins. But swarm cooperation, okay, they cooperate among themselves and get the goal achieved. And there, the survival and selection. Okay, so it talks about mainly about survival and how the survival is done based on the selection of the best feature. Here it mainly talk about movements, adjustment. There it talks about reproduction, how that is down the lane brought to the next generation. Next generation is what evolutionary algorithm talks about. Here it talks about communication, yeah, how it is accomplished by means of local interaction. So if you talk about uh, nature to optimization, so birds, the particle swarm optimization, ant colony optimization, bees is artificial bee colony optimization, bacteria foraging optimization, they're based on the reproduction, cuckoo search algorithm, firefly algorithm. These are some of the algorithms which is inspired by the nature, right? So this is about swarm intelligence. So swarm intelligence is a collective behavior of many individuals, and the swarm intelligence has characteristics of decentralization, self-organization, and communication. And based on the swarm intelligence, see you see all these algorithms have evolved. So thank you.